Hold up. Wait a minute. Bruh. Did you hit the like button? Drop some rabbits in the chat. Let's go.
Hit that like. Hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat. Hit chat. Hit that like. Hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. If you want the tea, come see me. Rabbit hole is the place to be for real news, not fake news. Celebrity news, breaking news around the clock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock, I rock, I rock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock. Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, hit chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. True crime is my specialty. Exposed in the industry. Unsolved mysteries. Sticking to reality. Fair use commentary. Talking about cults. Trying to get results. Exploring hopes. Exploring, researching, debunking, investigating, being nosy, super nosy, being messy, being shady. Rabbit hole news. That's me, the chick with ADHD, unmedicated but quite educated. Hit that like. Hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat. Hit chat. Hit that like. Hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop some drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Hit that like. Hit that like. Let's go. Let's go. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show.
What sickness? Welcome, everybody. Shout out to everybody in the chat. NyQuil on deck. Okay, well, Dayquil, not NyQuil, because NyQuil will put me to sleep. Welcome. How do I sound? Do I sound so horrible? Live now. I told y'all I had a little fever this morning, and I was like, let's go. You know what? Let's go. I'm feeling okay. I'm all right, y'all, but I need you guys to hit the like button. That'll make me feel better. Support the channel. Share. Okay? Thank you. The Dayquil has entered the chat. You are so right about that. You're so right about that. Welcome. I sound like Bruce without having to sound like Bruce. Don't make me bring Bruce. Where's Aduko at? I know I am, guys. I'm trying to get better. I'm gonna do my best. I'm not gonna push myself so crazy today. I'm just gonna take it easy. We have some videos to watch, some stuff to react to. And we got to keep it going, y'all. Let me tell you something, okay? And I get this from my dad. Shout out to my dad. All right. I am that person that, sick or not, let's go. We got to go. We got to do it. Don't I sound like Bruce Aduko? I was just thinking about you. Put a one in the chat if that's how you were raised. Were you raised that way, mom or dad? It's like, it don't even matter. You have to go. You just go and do. You're going to pull through, and you do. And you do no matter what. You may feel like shit, but you still put that's how I was raised. You know what I mean? I was raised that way, like no matter what. And I know it sucks because it's like, I come from the field of, self-care, flowers. So, and I do, please note that I do, especially when I feel like, all right, I need to step back from this. But ultimately, that's just kind of how some of us were raised. We were just raised to keep it pushing. Shout out to you, Elri. And again, happy birthday to you. Elri's birthday was yesterday, you guys. Make sure you guys say happy birthday to our girl, as well as Flojo, whose birthday was yesterday as well. Y'all, I was sick last night, so I went to bed after that live. I was like, I'm out. I Dayquil on the beat. Feel better. Thank you. Okay, so we have so much to get into, okay? We really do. Why don't we get into Harvey? Because Sheriff Harvey, I don't know, man. I haven't seen this yet, and I already heard the rumblings of it. So let's get into Sheriff Harvey real quick. He's been working really hard, reporting the news in all seriousness. He's been out there reporting every ransom note, letting us know what's up and what's going on. Yes, his name is Sheriff Harvey. Sheriff Harvey from TMZ. Y'all are funny. James just gifted 5 memberships. Put some hearts in the chat. Put some hearts in the chat if you have been gifted. By the way, Baby Bunny does this thing. Hearts, mom. So she expects me to do my hand like that, and then she does hers. Her birthday's coming up, by the way, on the 1st. 4 years old. 4 years old. Okay. James, thank you for gifting. You are amazing. Thank you. And Elry, again, thank you for the 199. Did you put Vicks on? Yes, I did. And on the socks, and on the chest, and under the nose, just like any other Latina would. Yes, we do the Vicks. Thank you so much, my love, for the 199. Appreciate it. All right, let's get it together. Let's talk about Harvey, Sheriff Harvey, with the breaking news. Let's go.
Monday morning, we have received a fourth letter from the same person who says that he knows where Nancy Guthrie is and he wants money in return for the information. Essentially, he wants the reward. So I have something to say to you. And I have already talked to the FBI about this, that if you are not real, you're committing a crime. And you should know that. And this is a serious federal crime.
Yeah, and you've been giving it attention too. So I don't know, like, if you're not real, you are committing a crime. I have no idea what to say about this, but okay, let's keep going.
If you are real, this is the fourth letter you've sent. And I should tell everybody that in this letter, it says, I know what I saw 5 days ago south of the border, and I was told to shut up, so I know who he is, and that was definitely Nancy with them. This is the second time he has referred to more than one person involved in this. He said there was a
South of the border. So this is the location where people are saying that this lady might be at? That this person knows where she's at? South of the border. And I thought this was you know what? You said, well, smack my ass and call me Jane. Just happened to send another final letter. The other one wasn't, this one's the final one. You know what? I don't know. Listen, I don't know. I don't know, man. All of us have always been saying that there's a high probability that she's in Mexico. Well, I haven't said that per se, because I think that the border has been pretty tough on. You can't just walk over the border anymore like you used to. I remember one of the things that I did when I was 18, this was, several years ago. Yeah, you could just cross the border just by walking. Did it a couple times. You do it in TJ, you can do it in El Paso, right? Just walk over. And before it used to be you just show an ID. I don't think it's like that anymore. So, and they're really doing thorough checks in lines. I mean, if you're driving over with a person in there, expect a lot of inspections and a lot of checks. So it's not as easy as people are making it sound like, that you could just walk over and hide a body or a person, let alone a lady. Like, I don't think that, I don't know. Personally, I don't think that that's possible right now, from what I have heard from border people that are over there. So I just don't think that. Yeah. You said unless a border agent gets a cut. That's what I'm saying, is like, there you go. It's not that easy at all. So yes, even though she is, I think technically she's she's what, not that long, not that far away from the border. And it would make, I guess to me, it's like, I get it where people are coming from with that. I just don't think that, given the immense security at the border, I don't think it's easy to just take someone over there like that.
main person, and there are others, and he said it here. He is saying that Nancy was taken to Mexico. Now, this is what he's saying. I'm not going to vouch for him, but this is the fourth letter. We have sent them all on to the FBI. And
He's not going to vouch for him. Okay. I mean, we wouldn't have expected him to do that, right? Unless you know something that we don't know. I don't know.
he also says one of the reasons he's worried about coming forward is he has a record. He has a burglary on his record from 10 years ago. So I don't know if you're real or not if you're watching this, but if you are, um, and I have told the FBI that we're going to do this, they know this, that um, if you're worried about getting this money and you really do have this information, send it to us. You're sending us these letters. Send it to us. We will forward it to the FBI.
So the guy or the person, he's got a criminal past, right? He says, I have a burglary in my past. And so I'm worried about being in trouble again. Nobody can guarantee that he's not going to get in trouble over this. I mean, even the simple fact that you're, what is it, interstate commerce, something charges, the same with the other guy. You're literally communicating and trying to get money. I mean, that in itself is a crime, doing it this way. I literally don't know what to think. And he could be very well be trolled right now. And you've offered him that platform to allow him to do that. Hence why he keeps contacting you. Why does he keep contacting you if it isn't for the fact that you have allowed him to have that platform? That's the only way. It's the only reason. The other networks haven't. Did the other television, the local news, have they provided them a platform? No. So I don't understand, why does Harvey keep doing this? And law enforcement and feds can't even find missing Indigenous women. Thank you so much, Elry, for the 199. Thank you. So it's literally, I don't know, man. I think you just stop reporting it. Stop. This man has said whoever is sending these letters, this is the final one. This is the final one. When? It still keeps going. So I don't know if it's just attention seeking or what. You say, I understand why he's entertaining this. Well, that's what it seems like. Why entertain it? I mean, if that's the case, and then so let me hear me out too. Shout out to my boo, the only Angie, who, and let me tell you guys something. I really, for my members on the Discord, I really and I have this on a video, for everybody, and everybody can hear me say it now. I really, if somebody is in need of money or there's a GoFundMe, I need you guys to bring those to me before we put them out. And I simply say this is because it's happened before in communities where people get scammed. So a person, and I don't know, I'm thinking that I'd like to think that people meant well by this, but they are doing crowdsourcing for a GoFundMe for Nancy, for Bitcoin to buy info. So now we're doing GoFundMes to crowdsource for information. If the FBI is not doing this, why are we doing GoFundMes for this? I don't think that that's a good idea. And it's not even like in consultation for with the family. If somebody starts a GoFundMe and it's about my family, y'all better be consulting with me before you do that. That's too much. Do you see what I'm saying? So we're going to get into this article here. So, and this is just a general rule that I have on my Discord is whether it's a personal GoFundMe or another person GoFundMe or whatever it may be, I ask that you guys run those by me before you put them out. Anything of that sort, because I've seen this happen. We've actually had that in the community before where somebody was like taking money, even if they're asking, because you don't know who else they're asking from, and unfortunately that's just how it happens. So let me finish this video and we'll get to that article here in a minute. Okay.
And that way there's a record that we have that you supplied this information. If they find her and they find the kidnapper, then at least there is evidence, because we have it, that you're the one who provided the information. So this is a way for you to get that money if this really is legitimate. Send us the information. We will pass it on to the FBI. Okay, that said, a couple of points. One is the glove. I hope that glove has DNA that leads authorities to this kidnapper. but it is weird to me because if somebody is at that house and they take Nancy and they get in a car to drive off, the first thing they're going to do is take the gloves off because it's real hard to drive with gloves like that. And if the gloves go off and they're placed in the car, how does it end up 2 miles away on the side of the road? It just is weird. It just is OJ-esque and doesn't make sense. And the
OJ-esque. Is that what we're saying now? So my understanding is there was 16 gloves, and the only reason why there were 16 gloves because apparently these searchers were also wearing gloves and they didn't have a place to deposit those gloves. So now you got resources on these gloves that don't even need to be there, right? Like keep that in mind. We're spending a lot of time on this.
other thing is that, there are different theories here about was this a burglary? Was this a ransom? As you know, we and several others have received ransom notes, and the FBI is keenly interested in these notes. I can tell you that. Um, this seems a weird type of burglary because if it were a burglary, number one, why would somebody be dressed head to toe that way? And number two, if it's a burglary and somebody wants to go in and root around for jewelry or whatever, um, it would seem to be difficult opening drawers and grabbing things with gloves like that. And if you take the gloves off, then you're going to put your fingerprints on something. So what's the point of gloves in the first place? So this does not feel like a burglary, somebody
Okay.
dressed head to toe with gloves like that. And if it were
So people are going back and forth, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute because 9 hours ago we had NBC, who is the network, that Savannah Guthrie works for, right? They're also so I'm thinking this is kind of where we're at right now. I honestly think that Savannah is probably giving information to that network, to NBC, and that's why that information's out there. Because where did that come from? A local affiliate reported. I also got those articles as well that we can look at. Tinkle, thank you so much for this 1999. When I was desperate with my dog medical issues, Rabbit was the only streamer to support me, and I'm forever grateful. Shut up, Tinkle. I love you. You know that no matter what, we'll always support you. Okay, we love you over here. And you've always been you have a good heart, Tinkle. Thank you. You said hard to drive with nitrile gloves. I don't think so. I've done lab work in that area of those gloves. Yeah, those gloves. I mean, I've done my hair in those gloves. You know what I mean? And it's like, you can only do so much with those kinds of gloves, especially when you have like chemicals in them or you're grabbing things. They're very they can be very slippery. You said with nitrile gloves? What I mean, I can't open a drawer. Okay, gotcha. Do they use I thought they used different kinds of gloves instead of those. Okay. So anyways, TMZ is not buying the burglary thing. So we're gonna look at this theory of the burglary, which to me it makes sense. I know, and then people were kind of going back and forth in the comments. I said, I don't know, guys. To me, it makes sense. It might be a burglary, and people were saying, well, there's so many things why it wouldn't be a burglary. Like, I don't think it started as a burglary. I think it started as a burglary that then became a kidnapping. That's how I think it happened. My theory. I could be wrong, but I don't know. We'll keep watching.
a burglary, the easiest thing to do if they knew anything about Nancy is she goes to church. They could have just gone in on Sunday morning when she was at church. So this just doesn't feel like a burglary. That's my opinion. That is not fact. I have talked to one law enforcement source who is like minded in that. But I want to end by repeating that if the person who has sent us these 4 demand letters is real, and I'm questioning whether you are, but if you are, then send us the information. We will immediately pass it on to the FBI. Then you have a record that you're the one, if it's legit, who led them to Nancy and the kidnappers, and that will help you get the money.
Ooh. And that's not going to happen. Um, Let's be realistic, right? That's not going to happen. Jen hates social media. My love, thank you so much for your 20-month membership, love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shout out to you, approaching OG membership. Thank you, love. I appreciate you. Thank you. Um, Here's the question that I have. You know, somebody said something. You said nothing was disturbed or taken. I don't know. We don't know what the crime scene looks like. We've been told here and there by inside sources. Y'all remember when they said that the back door was open? And then the sheriff discredited that? They wouldn't even tell us what the crime scene looked like. I don't even think they realized it was a crime scene until a couple days later when they did the second press conference and they realized, oh shit, like this might actually be it might be a kidnapping versus an elderly woman who just left her property and was confused and stuff like that. That's the question that I have. What what are we doing? What are we saying here? You said I sent you the info. Where did you send it? I'm sorry. I'm looking and I don't see it. Is it on my phone or what? It's always been a kidnapping. Someone was in the back, broke the floodlight. There's that too. I don't even think I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even think that the FBI and Piedmont County have really decided what exactly happened because you have two different sources saying different things, and yet you have sources within the inside of the agency leaking information to the media. So which one is it? Was it a burglary or was it a kidnapping or was it both? Hmm? Just a question. Nikki, thank you for being a member for 5 months. Thank you. Thank you. I want to go back a little bit because he said something very interesting when he talked about this burglary. 1 second.
Side of the road. It just is weird. It just is OJ-esque and doesn't make sense. And the other thing is that, there are different theories here about was this a burglary? Was this a ransom? As you know, we and several others have received ransom notes, and the FBI is keenly interested in these notes. I can tell you that.
If the FBI is keenly interested in the notes, then why are we still isn't that like evidence? Why are we still like disclosing what we have as evidence against individuals that are targeting this family? This is what I don't understand. I don't feel like we're really paying attention. Like you can't have it both ways, right? It's either there's a link to them or there isn't. Is the FBI being interested in these notes? Is that them saying, yes, we know that there's something to be had on these notes? And if that is the case, why are we still talking about these notes publicly? Because the other networks haven't. They haven't. So this is what I don't understand. I'm like, well, am I like, what am I doing? Am I missing something here? I don't know, y'all. Addie, thank you so much for becoming a member. Shout out to you. Thank you, thank you. You said, I think Harvey is more interested in the notes than the authorities. Well, I think the notes just kind of give him content. That's all it is. You said, I don't believe the FBI is interested in Harvey's notes. Yeah, because the FBI would have said to you, can you stop talking about these notes? If they were interested, why not collect them and tell them, hey, you need to stop. You could say you receive a note, but don't tell them what the context is of the note. It doesn't make sense at all.
This seems a weird type of burglary because if it were a burglary, number one, why would somebody be dressed head to toe that way? And number two, if it's a burglary and somebody wants to go in and root around for jewelry or whatever, it would seem to be difficult opening drawers and grabbing things with gloves like that. And if you take the gloves off, then you're going to put your fingerprints on something. So what's the point of gloves in the first place?
Yeah, no, I think you're thinking too much about how difficult it would be to open a drawer. It's weird. Okay, we're gonna go to Enton here in a minute. You said you think Harvey cares? See how they treated Brittany? No, I don't think Harvey gives a shit. Actually, I don't think any of these people give a shit about. And this is a colleague of theirs. They don't care, right? They have to do what they have to do. But it's funny how it's like a dog eat dog world in this situation.
So this does not feel like a burglary, somebody dressed head to toe with gloves like that. And if it were a burglary, the easiest thing to do, if they knew anything about Nancy, is she goes to church. They could have just gone in on Sunday morning when she was at church. So this just doesn't feel like a burglary. That's my opinion. That is not fact. I have talked to one law enforcement source who is like-minded in that. But I want to end by repeating that if the person who has sent us these 4 demand letters is real, and I'm questioning whether you are, but if you are, then send us the information. We will immediately pass it on to the FBI. Then you have a record that you're the one, if it's legit, who led them to Nancy and the kidnappers, and that will help you get the money.
Sorry, y'all. I had to grab and get more tissue. I don't know. I think that it's BS. That's kind of where we're at. You said Harvey and his nitrile glove. Y'all are funny in the chat. Someone commented that her family said Nancy recently had roof work done. Yeah, on the house. I hope law enforcement are looking into it. They're looking at everything. I do believe that law enforcement is doing their best to look at things, but I think the issue becomes is that you have 2 different agencies and maybe they aren't doing very well. They're doing what they have to do, but it does make you wonder what's up with this. So let's start here with this situation with the Monday morning, and then because it is Monday, and then we'll start with the next video, and then we got to look into this GoFundMe as well.
Hey guys, it's Monday morning. Wanted to give you guys a couple of updates. I'm on my way back to Nancy Guthrie's house now. There's no official briefings scheduled right now with the Pima County Sheriff's Office, but I'll keep an eye on that. New reporting, NBC News is reporting that authorities are leaning away from any family members of Nancy Guthrie's as potential suspects. And obviously with NBC, I don't normally use other networks' information, but they're in a unique position, obviously, because Savannah Guthrie works for NBC News. So their information, I think, is a little more interesting. And I wonder if some of it is being funneled through her. I'm not sure. But that's their latest reporting, which I thought was interesting. What else? Obviously, I think the next 24 hours could be really important when it comes to DNA. If you check out my last podcast, I talk a lot about that with a couple of experts because they're going to start getting DNA results back from all of these tests and swabs that they've been doing, and the DNA from the glove and all of that. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. And I'll talk to you guys. I'll talk to you guys soon. I'll keep you guys posted. It's still early here, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Monday morning.
So I think it's interesting that NBC News has that information, that it's very likely that they're rolling out family that we know of. We have the actual article of it as well. It's more of like an update that they did. Now let's get into this here. This is from also just maybe a couple minutes ago that it just dropped.
Hey guys, so we just got an update from the Pima County Sheriff's Office. A couple of things. First of all, they are saying that the report that detectives believe that this was a burglary gone bad is not true. They're saying that is not their only working theory right now. You remember there was a local news report that said that yesterday, which I did a video yesterday. My sources were already telling me that it was an incorrect report, and I don't know how anyone would really know that because they just don't know. So the sheriff is officially knocking that down and saying that is not true. The other new piece of information from the sheriff's office is they are saying that the clothing that the suspect is wearing is sold at Walmart and may have been bought at Walmart, but it is not exclusively sold at Walmart. So it is possible that the suspect bought it at Walmart, but it's also possible that the suspect did not buy it at Walmart. So that's also interesting. There are no press briefings, like press conferences scheduled for today, but we will see sort of what develops. I'm outside. Nancy's house is just back there. So I've got a couple of things that I'm working on today. I'll keep you guys posted. Hey guys, so we just got an update from the Pima County Sheriff's Office.
This is Pima County Sheriff's Office directly. So then are these sources that are leaking information to these journalists? Okay, because let me tell you, last night everybody is like fighting on the streets of the Twitter. Okay, let me just say that much. People are going back and forth on Twitter about who and what, who said what, and who did what, and what people are doing and saying. There is a representative, who's speaking out against the bloggers on YouTube. She doesn't like the fact that she's local to that area. She doesn't like the fact that people are out there. She's got a lot to say about people out there streaming and stuff like that. And so everybody kind of came at her neck yesterday, which I'm like, well, you know, I don't know what to think of at this point. Like, literally, I get it. There's a lot of traffic down in that area and people got to be careful. But at the same time, it's like you can't tell people not to go and review what's going on and everything. And all the attention is in this specific area. That's what they're saying. You said if you, let's see, how on earth have they not traced the IP address of these letters on the email? Well, if you're using again technology, if you're using some kind of secure, multi-secure, double layer server, um, where even a VPN, like it can be difficult to trace some of these emails. Sometimes you need warrants, and some of these emails might be out of like different countries and stuff like that. It does happen where things are used. There could also be blockers that they can use. Um, that's even outside of the scope for the FBI to look at and pull. So here's my question, y'all. So the GoFundMe to buy Bitcoin for Nancy Guthrie's investigation launched by Arizona man. There's a man local in there, to Tucson, and he is like, I'm willing to. Can we raise some money for this? The search for Nancy Guthrie is hitting new extremes. Members of the public are now crowdsourcing crypto, with one concerned citizen launching a GoFundMe to help bring her home. So the page started by Tucson, Arizona native Sean Brendan, entitled Help Find Nancy Guthrie, says the plan is to funnel donations straight to the Guthrie family so that they can buy Bitcoin, hoping it will help pay for info about Nancy's whereabouts. I don't think that this is needed. Just my opinion. You said, as we reported, TMZ received an email, yes, of course, today, and they're wanting 1 Bitcoin in exchange for the alleged kidnapper's identity. That's no small ask. A single Bitcoin is currently worth about 65,000. So back to the GoFundMe, the Sean Brendan says that any leftover funds could be handed over to the FBI or local police to help cover massive costs of the ongoing investigation. So far, the donations are a crawl. 65K goal has only pulled $115 from four donors on Monday morning. No, as you know, the 84-year-old Nancy is the mother of the Today Show host, Savannah Guthrie. And so I don't think that this is smart. Oh my God. Y'all, $460. It is not, I don't think that this is a smart thing to do. Why are people doing this? I'm like, I don't know, man. Hold up. Let me see. And I think he did a TikTok video too. See if I can pull it. Um, Lord have mercy. His name is Sean Brendan. I think that's his name. Let me see. To GoFundMe. Did I spell it wrong? Probably. Wait, let's see. Okay. I didn't spell it wrong. I can't find it. So he's wanting to do the like, does he think that this is gonna, what if there's nothing to this? Like, what is the point of this? I don't get it. I don't think it's a smart idea. That's just my thought, man. What do I know? Just my thought. So it's now at $460. I don't think people should be donating to this at all. And if it's not the ask of the family, why for what? I'm trying to see if he did a video. I thought he did. No. No video. Thought there might be one. You said, yeah, she doesn't. I just don't think that it's a good idea, and I don't think people need to donate to that. Yeah, have TMZ donate since they've been freaking, given the scammers the platform to say this ish. I just don't. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe um this isn't a situation where they don't have the money, guys. Like, let's be very real. This is not a situation where they don't have the money to just, give the money to people. I just don't think that I don't think it's smart at all. That's not even, yeah, I don't know, right? You said let them pay. You said that's why you have to that's why you have to have an open mind. An open mind for what? I just don't think it's a good idea. You said they should shut, well, because like you're you're basically running a GoFundMe to crowdsource for a potential scammer to give you information. Like, does any of that sound, you're crowdsourcing for a scam? Does that at all make sense to anybody? I don't think it does. I don't think it's smart, but hey, man, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you guys might see a little bit different. I just think that it's pretty ridiculous. If you're not doing it for the direction, at least get the okay from the family, you know? Yeah, it needs to be shut. I just don't think it's a good idea. It, like I said, it's not that the FBI isn't providing money or even the family. It's just that they don't have proof of life. They don't have proof of life. So are you supposed to just give money out like that without a proof of life? And even if I think Savannah has even said that they were willing to pay, that this isn't a situation um that they're not willing to pay. So I just don't think it's a good idea. But I don't know, man. What do I know? What do I know? I just can't believe people have actually donated to it. I don't know. Maybe people want to get scammed. Maybe that's what it is. Hold up. Is this it? No. This is another. I'm trying to see. I thought the guy did a video, but I guess he didn't. I'll have to find the video. So there was a video this Sean guy did for the GoFundMe. I'm kind of curious to see. Opportunity for clout definitely exists for him, I guess. I'm not really sure. I have no judgment against the family. They have every right to pay or not to pay. That's right, regardless of how much money they have. I would agree. I would agree. It's completely up to them. And again, proof of life I think is important and whatnot. But if you can't provide that, how do you go about this? I don't know. To each his own. So Brian Enton is telling us that he spoke to Pima, and Pima said that they're not looking at this as a burglary. And I want people to pay attention to the fact that various outlets are giving us different information. Okay. And so then when you have people that are blaming certain, it's this person's fault or that person's fault or it's this person's fault. And I'm just sitting there like, well, is it really? Because some of this information came from major media, right? The brother-in-law being looked at as a prime suspect came from Ashley. Now, mind you, she's now on YouTube. I get that. But for the most part, I don't think that she's done enough YouTube to consider her a YouTuber per se. I think anybody can be a YouTuber, but she's been mainstream and she still has a lot of sources through mainstream. So it's very easy for us to kind of like be like, all right, so we're trusting her because of her experience, right? Now you have Brian Enton saying that he spoke directly to Pima. Then you have this other news reporter, Brianna Whitney. She's the one that put that. These tips are coming from media. Okay. And then we're repeating those tips. So when we get the shitty end of the stick, when we get, it's the YouTubers, it's the streamers. Well, look at where the information's coming from. She is a reputable journalist. She's been working in Arizona for quite some time. She's followed some cases I've even followed from Arizona. Hold up. This is her.
Surveillance video and other aspects of this case that they also believed this was not an intended kidnapping. As for Friday night's operations, law enforcement activity, we can now report from our inside source that DNA evidence is currently being tested that was found from that Range Rover.
Inside source. She's got an inside source. Ashley Banfield has an inside source. So can the inside source have a meeting? Can these sources have like a sit down meeting, lunch, or I don't know, Einstein bagels or something? And y'all sit down and figure out what's actually accurate, because every inside source is giving something a little bit different. Did y'all notice that? Okay. Did y'all notice that? And then we get the shitty end of the stick of like, well, you guys are doing X, Y, and Z. Well, wait a minute. We're reporting the stuff that you guys are putting out there, right? Or are we just making shit up? I don't know. You have people like this a homegirl over here. Guthrie case is an example of how traditional media operates versus bloggers and true crime sleuths. We get info and confirmed it. Did y'all confirm all the info? Did Harvey say, you know what, let me step back before I tell people about the ransom note, which was put out there by who? Major media. We always get the shitty end of the stick. Until someone is arrested and charged, we don't put their info out for psychos to have access to. Huh? And it's like, what do you mean? Like, go back to the copy, go back to the timeline. Then shout out to Lauren, okay? Lauren, who's also here on YouTube as well, shout out to her. She even said, like, I'm surprised to see TMZ clickbaiting like this. The subject is unknown. They did not say the DNA stuff that happened yesterday. And look it, did they remove it? I said the exact same thing. Y'all remember that article that we were talking about yesterday? The one that said that it just left for so much. It looks like they removed it. Look at this. So good. Because typically they don't remove shit that they put out there. But was it the YouTubers that did that, or was it TMZ? I'm telling you. And then you have Harvey that sits there and he wants to lecture people about, guys, we really got to be careful, and this and that and the other, and people are twisting things. And what do you mean? You're putting that out there. So, yeah, the frustration is real. That's why I'm like, I don't know who and what. And I expect people to, like, if these journalists, including Brian Enton and all of them, if they're getting things wrong and we're repeating it, but because we're repeating it, they got it wrong and we're quoting them, we're still somehow the ones at fault. They get to keep their jobs. I mean, that's how it is, right? We have to do what we have to do. And again, Sheriff says that Pima County Sheriff's Department has never stated that this was a burglary gone wrong. Any reports indicating otherwise are inaccurate. This remains very active. Yet local news stated that they have an inside source. So that's what I'm saying is these inside sources need to have a meeting. They got to have some bagels or something and sit down and eat, because we're repeating what you guys are saying. Literally, Twitter has been on freaking, it's been on 10, like, on this case. I don't even know what to make of it sometimes. You know what I mean? So maybe these sources are just inside, not necessarily in the police department, just inside their houses. I know, right? Like, they're inside, they're not outside. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not trusting any inside source. These people are betraying the place they work. Well, there you go. They're betraying the place they work and the families they vow to protect, not to mention breaking rules. That's just wrong. Listen, if I could just, I mean, I wish I didn't have to have Twitter, but I have to have Twitter. I cannot not have Twitter, because this is where a lot of the stuff kind of goes down. And I hate Twitter. Please note that. But it's just not, it's historic. I liked Twitter when it first started. I don't like it anymore. And how it's, we went from X, and I don't even like the name of it. But anyways, so that's why I call it Twitter. So Sheriff says we can confirm that the clothing seen in the video may have been purchased from Walmart. So this is the assailant, okay? And then this was from yesterday. Now I do see
thanks so much
that hold up. We're not going to go quite yet. I was seeing that Brian Enton was live answering questions, but I think Are they still live? I just didn't want to um I didn't want to be like, streaming their live while they're live at the same time. I don't think they're live anymore. Let me see. Cuz I wanted to hear what Brian Enton had to say with their questions. Okay. Ooh, I hope this is okay and I don't get in trouble for at least showing this part. So, Brian Enton did an interview cuz you guys know that he's like there. Hold up. And hopefully I just want to give some commentary to this. Again, shout out to, let's see, WFLA News 8. I thought I was subscribed. I guess I'm not. Okay. Let's get into this because this is like direct live questions. And I wanted to see this. I thought that they were going to have Brian Enton on and the audience was going to ask questions. So I'm kind of curious to know what they're asking.
I can't keep track. Josh can't keep track.
See.
So that system's a little bit easier for us to actually get questions from. There's no sign up required or anything like that. No gotcha moment. It's just a simple, basic form. So you go to, in your web browser, go to heyjb.live in a web browser, and you can just punch in your question for Brian, and we'll get to as many of them. We also have a poll question that I'm going to ask Brian about here in just a second, but this is what the form looks like.
I mean, it's literally a lot of people in that chat. I think he had like well over 12,000. Okay, here we go.
Match the gloves that we see on the now viral Ring doorbell cam video, but there were a lot of black gloves recovered. I think of it as dropping a deck of cards on the ground, asking somebody to find the ace of spades, and then throwing about another, I don't know, 24 or so ace of spades on the ground and say find the right one. It just seems to me like that had to have provided some complications, but they seem to have honed in on this particular set of black gloves.
Yeah, I'm a little skeptical of how the gloves are going to pan out just because there's so many black gloves around here. And where they found those gloves, at least that one set, was 2 miles away on a really busy road where there's a lot of trash along the roadway. Marnie Hughes from News Nation was out there, and I was just looking at her video. And, and I'm also told by local, there's a lot of homeless people around there. And would this guy actually, the suspect have just thrown the gloves out the car window? It's possible. So I don't know. I'm waiting to see where that goes. I'm much more interested in the DNA that they collected from inside the house that is not connected to Nancy or anyone in her inner circle, because that's actually the crime scene. So that to me, I think could end up being more promising in terms of helping. And there's actually, I'm just gonna look, there's a helicopter now. Hold on, let me look real quick.
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
a helicopter.
I don't think
Where are you, by the way? You look like you're in the wilderness.
Yeah, I'm outside Nancy's house, so this is kind of where
is it, okay, for those that are local to Tucson, is it pretty cloudy out there right now? It seems very cloudy. Let me know, guys. Because it looks like, I know it rained on Friday, but it looks pretty cloudy out there. It looks kind of gloomy. You said media has always been bought. Yes, this is, Layla, you ain't never lie, right? It's pretty cloudy out there. Okay, shout out to everybody from Tucson. If you're watching from Tucson, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button, please, and thank you. I'm coming to you with the Dayquil on deck, okay? Sick and all, but I'm here, all right? I'm here. Okay, let's hit play, guys. Make sure you guys support.
Stay most of the time when there's not any updates. So it is like very, I'm from Florida, like where you are, JB. So I'm not used to, there's a lot of cactuses and stuff. It's a very different vibe here.
Right before Brian joined the stream, as we were in Mike Jack's, Brian said, I have to sit on a box. And Brian Enton should never have to sit on a box. I wish we could trade chairs today. I wish I could take the box and you could take the office chair. I feel like you need it more than I do. And we're going to get to the questions coming in, but I want to ask our audience here as well this question. I want to ask, Brian, your perspective on this question, because it's our poll question on our website and people are already starting to vote. You can see the vote counter on the bottom of your screen. The mass attention on this case. Clearly, people have, law enforcement, Savannah Guthrie herself, asking for people to participate, tens of thousands of tips, likelihood likely as far as the amount of tips coming into law enforcement. Do you believe that the mass attention in this case is more helpful or more harmful to the Guthrie investigation, given that, when you have this much attention, it can create complications as well?
Coming from two journalists, I'm kind of curious how they're going to answer that. Now, APS just doesn't show. Okay, we did talk about APS before. And to let you guys know, depending on the county, the state, the service, or whatever, sometimes when APS shows up, okay, Adult Protective Services, you guys keep talking about this card. The question that I have is, did they show up after the report went in about her being missing? Or did they show up before? And that card has been sitting there for quite some time. I think that's interesting. Did APS encounter, again, people that call APS, they're calling anonymous, right? To report a suspected extortion, abuse of an adult. Okay, it's a little bit different than child welfare services. But if APS is out there, I would be concerned. I would, because their criteria to go out and investigate is a little bit different than the other agencies. So that would be my question: is that did that card appear there before or after the call? But before she went missing, excuse me. That would be my question. I don't know if we can really answer all of APS right now until we find that out.
So some of it I think is helpful. Obviously, like, they released the photos for a reason, and the FBI doesn't normally like to release photos unless they need the public's help. So I think overall helpful because they're asking for help. And we don't know what's happening behind the scenes. I mean, some of the best tips coming in based on those photos are probably from people who just saw them on the news or on social media. Where I think it's an issue is people online who are, and I have nothing against, like YouTube journalists and there's a lot of responsible people out there. But where I think it's an issue, and I go back to like even Gabby Petito and when we covered Koberger, is when people start posting photos of people who they think are involved. And that just kind of bothers me. That's where I think it gets a little out of control, just because I've seen so many times where, most of the people who are suspected end up not being involved. And, you really drag these people through the mud. When, I mean, imagine that stuff stays online forever. So,
well, and that's my pushback with Brian Ensign is Brian. Then my question to you is, what about Ashley Banfield, who put that out there, that they were looking at the the son-in-law as the potential prime suspect, right? That man's photo's up there, and everybody, I mean, he hasn't been cleared. Let's be very real, okay? So he could very well be a suspect for all we know, right? Or he maybe was, or maybe all the family's members were at some point. But I also think that unless they put it out there by police, then we really don't have anything else to, like, he's just another person that was also put out there, and we don't even know if he actually was or wasn't a suspect, a prime suspect. So again, another person who's worked in media who put that information out there. Just a thought. Okay.
Oh, I just think people need to be careful about that.
Yeah, and we've seen way too much of it, and I'm sure we'll talk more about that later. But in the meantime, while we have you here for just a few minutes, let's get some of the questions and comments that have been coming in on our website for Brian Ensign. Again, submit yours at heyjb.live. That's just a place that's easier for me to read them. So Kathy and Lindsay were the first two to get in questions. Kathy asked about the postcard from APL that was on Nancy's door. And was someone concerned prior to her abduction? We also have Lindsay here talking about the business card from APS. So clearly a lot of focus here in our chat from that angle.
Okay, we're gonna
and that's an interesting question. It's interesting. This helicopter is right here. There is a business card in the door, and we zoomed in on it last night, and I saw it, and it is from Adult Protective Services, from an investigator. It seems like it's been in the door for a while, because we went back and looked at our video from like a couple days after we got here, and it was still in the door. But I actually texted the sheriff and asked him about it. And I haven't heard back. So I don't know where it came from or what it means, honestly, but it is there.
Maisie wants to know, has there been any contact with the family outside of the pre-recorded messages? Do you know Savannah by any chance? I mean, in your reporting, have you ever run into her?
No, I mean, I'm a fan of hers. I've always liked just watching her, like a lot of other people. And I've, from colleagues who have known her, worked with her, it sounds like everything you hear about her is true. I mean, in terms of just being a genuinely nice, good person, which, at that level, there's just so many like jerks, and apparently she's not one of them. So I think that's true. She sounds like a really, really good person. But no, I've never met her before. And
this is a messed up situation. I mean, honestly, like, no matter how you put it, it's a messed up situation. Nicole Morgan, thank you so much for the 199. Thank you for such a good job covering this case. Well, I appreciate you, love. Thank you. Thank you so much for supporting it. Y'all hit the like button, please, and thank you. And share and all, okay? Yes, it's confirmed to be Nancy's blood. That's correct. The blood on the it's confirmed to be Nancy's. They've already established that. I think that was established, was it the second press conference or something like that? And then there was some confusion about it too. So yeah, I could see where people were like, well, wasn't. Yeah. So yes, it's Nancy's. That I remember too. I heard it. It's confirmed.
Every time one of those videos comes out, it's just so heartbreaking. It just reminds you of like how sad this is.
Yep. How Connie wants to know, hashtags for us both, how could this be a burglary gone wrong when nothing was stolen but Nancy? You must have seen that report from the local CBS affiliate last night as well.
Yeah, I was skeptical of that report just because the people who I've been in touch with haven't told me that. I don't think they know. That's why I was kind of like, that's an interesting report, because I mean, there's a lot of theories out there. I don't think there's one
Burglary gone wrong, and they took Nancy. Well, that's the burglary, right? It went wrong. Instead of taking, items, they decided to take her. It went wrong. That's, I think, why we keep repeating that. We keep saying that. But it sounds like that's not what Pima believes based on what Brian Enton says. So there's that. I don't know, man, what the theories are at this point, but I guess we'll see.
Theory that they're 100%, going with right now. So yeah, and we don't know for sure. I mean, the sheriff has never fully answered whether anything was stolen, but the sense is, based on when you put everything together that they've told us, is that there wasn't, a bunch of stuff, jewelry stolen from the house or anything like that.
Right. Bethany says, why use a signal?
We don't know we don't know anything about the glove yet. We know we're supposed to get an update, I think today or tomorrow. But we don't know if it's any vicinity to the family. They haven't said anything publicly. So they haven't cleared the family, but they also haven't they haven't said anything. So they're putting it in CODIS. I think that's what they said they were going to do. But I thought they could, before they put it in CODIS, they could maybe match it to see if it matches the family. Like, wouldn't they match it before they enter it in CODIS? I don't know.
Sniffer, if they're only doing it over her house. We know she's not there, so it seems to be a waste of resources. Why not fly around other neighborhoods? I mean, where have you seen the slow-flying chopper? Let's start there.
Yeah, and they may have. I just saw it at the house. I know the signal sniffer was at the house because I actually saw it, but it went other places too after that. I didn't follow the chopper. And a lot of people on social media track the chopper and it does circles a lot of places. So I'm sure they didn't just use it at the house. They probably used it in other places too.
Let's see. Oh, this is a great question. R. Haynes, will the signal sniffer still work if Nancy isn't alive?
It's my understanding, yes. I think the pacemaker stays, charged up. So yes, from what I understand, it would.
Let's go to this question from T. Juddy. Again, all these coming into our website, heyjb.live, is the last call, because if you don't get yours in now, probably won't be able to get it in for Brian, as he only has a few more minutes with us. Do you think the glove DNA might be a distraction and they have more leads that they're finalizing? I think it's fair to say that this is a comprehensive investigation, right, Brian? And the DNA is just a part of it?
100%. Yeah, I think it could totally be a distraction. I think there could be a lot. I think I said it earlier. I think there could be a lot that we don't know about. And it could be a surprise when something goes down and it's like, oh my gosh, we're so focused on the glove and it had nothing to do with the gloves.
Okay, so if the glove looks exactly like the ones that the person, the intruder, was wearing in that, are those the only ones that look the same? That's the question that I have. Are those the only one that looks the same? I don't know, man. Let me hit play on this.
Look, Brian, I know this question, I hate shying away from questions. I like to really hone in on what people say. So I know this is a difficult one for you to answer. So given that you're there on the ground with this case, but I'm going to throw it up because, look, there's been a lot of people expressing frustration with the seemingly difficult and complex nature of this investigation, with how it's being handled by the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Office. So PM Dunn says, do you feel like the Sheriff Department has done their best in handling this case?
I mean, look, there's a lot of people who are upset with the way the sheriff has handled the case. It's interesting coming here and just talking to so many deputies and former deputies. And there's been a lot of drama with the sheriff's office for a long time here that just wasn't in the national spotlight. There's been a lot of turnover. I was interviewing a sergeant yesterday who was telling me that, the homicide team right now has 2 to 4 years experience on average. A lot of the experienced people have retired. They're short-staffed. So I think criticism of the sheriff's department is definitely fair. I think there's a time and place. I mean, obviously, I think the focus right now should stay on finding Nancy, and I'm sure.
Yeah, there's a time and place for this, and it does matter. I just think it takes up a lot of energy when people need to focus on finding this woman, or at least finding what happened to her.
When that hopefully happens afterwards, everybody can look back and look at everything that was done wrong. But even the sheriff has admitted that essentially that he made some mistakes, clearing the crime scene. And yeah, I mean, there's definitely been drama between them and the FBI. I know that because I've talked to people on both sides. So I think it's fair right now to be critical of the sheriff for sure.
Alexa says, one thing that's missing from this case, Brian, that really sticks out to me is any vehicle component. And so we've gotten a bunch of questions about that. Alexa saying, I've seen reports that the traffic cameras don't record vehicles. What is the purpose of the cameras if they don't record and can't help in situations like this? And it's so standard for stories that you and I have covered in the past for there to be some kind of vehicle discussion taking place. And this one completely absent. So what do you make of this one?
Yeah, and I've thought about the traffic camera thing too, and there are other states too, just from covering other stories I've done, crime stories, where the traffic cameras don't record. So that's not uncommon. But yeah, I mean, a vehicle would be huge. My sense is the suspect or suspects, and there could be more than one, walked in they parked the car somewhere else and walked through the desert or walked. I mean, it's so dark out here. There's no, there's this ordinance here that you can't have outside light at night because there's so many stargazers, and it is beautiful. The stars out here are insane at night, but it's also pitch black. So it would be very easy to, park a half a mile away and then walk into Nancy's neighborhood and you would not be spotted.
So that's interesting too. There's no street. There's like no street. Excuse me, I can't even speak. No street lights. Like my voice goes out. No street lights. And he even talked about the fact that he had to put the GPS because he still gets lost.
Gabriel, I think we already answered this question, but you know what? Considering Brian's got to go here. Let's, thank you for your reporting on this case, Brian. My question is, being so invested in the reporting on this case, how do you see this case ending? Cold or solved? At what point do you decide the case is cold and you stop reporting on the scene? This is a tough one for you and News Nation to figure out, right? Because you're there every day, but you can't be there forever. So right now you're on the case. So again, to the question, how do you see the case ending, and when do you decide, what your future is as far as reporting on this case?
I think it will be solved. I really do, in my gut, just because, you've got President Trump talking about it constantly. I mean, he's got the full weight of the FBI working on it. The way they got the Google video, which has never been done before, to our knowledge. I mean, she didn't have a subscription. They allegedly didn't record the video, but then they somehow found the video. So I think they're going to do things in this case that are like extraordinary because there's so much pressure on the FBI and there's so much pressure on the sheriff too. So I think those things combined, I do think it'll be solved. In terms of when we stay or go, I mean, I don't think we have any plans of leaving. I'm like, I always feel like I'm like the last one standing at these things. Like everyone leaves and I'm still sort of like standing there in the dark. So that's probably will be the case here too, I'm sure.
Dalen, question, does Brian know how much he's appreciated by everyone for his amazing coverage and dedication? It's great to have someone who sticks to the facts and doesn't spread rumors. Thank you, Brian.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
The appreciation has been everywhere on social media. Let me just end. I've always asked this question on like every time I've ever had you on, and people make fun of me for asking this question, but what are you eating?
Okay, I shout out to them. Excuse me. I want to go real quick over here because let me see. Did this just air? No, this is yesterday's. These people like always act like this is a new episode and it's not. Sorry, I was trying to show you guys something and there's no reason to. Thoughts and opinions about what? Okay. Thoughts and opinions about that interview. Sorry, something just distracted me. I got to show you guys this too. Just in, Trump threatens death penalty in Nancy Guthrie case. What? Can we solve it first? Hold up.
Moments ago, President Trump weighing in on the Nancy Guthrie case, telling the New York Post he will instruct the Department of Justice to seek the death penalty on the potential captors if the 84-year-old grandmother is not returned safe and sound to her family. President Trump went on to tell the Post they will face, quote, the most severe federal consequences if Nancy is found dead. Which we are a long way from that point, Paul. So
I'm like, whoa.
Just sort of picking up where we left off, a lot of digital threads to pull. And do you think that ultimately it will be digital evidence that will help break the case, or do you believe it will be genetic evidence that will do so?
Ooh,
or both?
Tough call. I mean, one digital vector in this thing that we hadn't explored was if the purchase history that Walmart has, and the various Walmart stores have different metrics for how long they retain the video. So let's say it's outside the range of where they retain the video. Their video is going to be very much like the video that she had at her house, which is it's not actual video, it's code. So my point is you may have to do something similar with the, let's say they identify the purchase, but it's 3 months ago, but they only have 2 months.
Let me stop because they lost me. I wanted to hear deeper a little bit more as to like how we got the death penalty already when we haven't even figured out who took this woman. But okay, more on the DNA situation. So we're going to move on from that, and just to kind of keep things a little bit more relevant. Let's see. Let's get into this right here.
Matt Hines, who's joining us from the sheriff's office.
DNA
Matt,
stuff.
Thank you so much for giving us some of your time today. So we're talking about this crucial 24-hour window, which will come to an end soon enough. We're waiting for the FBI to release this preliminary DNA data on this glove. What are your thoughts on that glove? What are just your sense of where things stand overall as we are now entering the third week of this search?
Sure. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. And this is a very close-knit community. And what we heard from your reporting earlier is that we're all coming together and hoping for the safe return of Nancy. Frustrating, of course, these cases can be. This does sound like a very promising lead, and it's my hope that will give some additional information that will lead to a safe return as well.
So we know that the National DNA Database, Matt, is only about 6 to 7% of the overall U.S. population. Right. That's a low number, but it is made up of people who have been arrested or convicted in the past, which may increase the stats there. Are you confident in possibly getting a match here?
That remains to be seen. I don't want to put out any false hope. Obviously, we're all very hopeful here, but it is a pretty low number. And again, this would have to be someone who had already committed some kind of crime or has a reason to be in that database. So it's not a super high possibility, but definitely it is possible, and that's something that we all hope for.
Absolutely. At least there is a chance. So you're joining us from the sheriff's office, as we said at the top there. Just talk about what the mood is like there.
Well, look, it's been a difficult more than 2 weeks now for this entire community. We have some amazing men and women of law enforcement at the level of the sheriff, a lot of special agents from the FBI that are involved in this case, and really everyone working, coming together, doing as much as they can to return Nancy safely home to her family. So there are leads, possible leads. Things kind of ebb and flow with these investigations, but it's a lot of really hard working, committed people that are dedicated to doing this.
Absolutely. We know there is so much hard work that goes into this. Everyone's doing their best, and there's so much happening behind the scenes. We've certainly heard reports. Do you feel like the sheriff's office and the FBI are working together pretty well, pretty successfully?
I'm not as certain about that. I have heard some frustrations directly and indirectly from.
I don't think that they are. And like I said, I think it's showing, and they have to be very careful with that. You know what I mean? Like, this is a real thing. I think that there's a lot of frustration and everything, but they have to be careful. I don't think, we're hearing different things and whatnot. If this was such a, productive type of situation, none of this would be out here the way that it is, honestly. Honestly.
From federal agents. And I think given where we are in this investigation and that the FBI does missing persons, that's kind of the thing, it might be best for the FBI to take over as investigative lead. That is not something that has happened yet, but it might be something we consider moving forward if the sheriff would relinquish that.
And I know you're choosing your words carefully, and I certainly respect that. I know you have been critical of Sheriff Nanos in the past. You've called him out, for example, going to that college basketball game early on in this investigation. What are your feelings today, on this Monday, now in week 3, on how this case has been handled locally?
That is an unfortunate example, an unfortunate distraction from the goal. And what I really regret about that decision that he made to go to a basketball game, day 7, no actionable leads at that point, is how that reflects on his entire department and those 1,500 men and women that are working their butts off to make sure that Nancy gets safely returned, because it puts out it doesn't tell that story. It distracts and tells a very different story, and an inaccurate one, I think. So
absolutely,
that was unhelpful and a regrettable thing, and I regret that he did that.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app.
Shut up, Cuomo. All right. So far, what do we have here? We don't have any updates. They're not going to do a press conference. We're hearing NBC News say something different. We're hearing the other side say something different. We don't know nothing at this point. Okay. There is a time frame that they have for this DNA to come forward and everything, of this glove. Could this be the thing that kind of busts the situation open? Are these gloves just like everybody just leaves gloves everywhere? I don't know. 16 gloves. Do the searchers not dispose of their material afterwards somewhere else, or where are these gloves coming from and then they all appear? I'm not really sure. So I guess we have a lot to kind of consume and think about, but we don't know anything at this point. So your theory is as good as mine, is as good as nothing at this point. It's just a theory, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that or anything like that. That's just how I see it. Okay. Well, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go because I gotta go drain my nose. Like, I'm literally stuffed. I have to go. My nose is killing me right now. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Thank you, James. Shout out to James. Everybody else that gifted. Thank you for supporting again. Shout out to our beautiful, wonderful members. I'll probably be live later. I just need to get some rest a little bit and kind of get some fluids, and my nose is killing me right now, so I got to go deal with that. But shout out to everybody. You guys are amazing. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday, and keep it pushing and keep it going. And we're Something breaks, you know we're on it, okay? I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys. Bye, bye, bye.